Hello and welcome to Elevate Studios. Today we'll be sharing 5 key ways you can ace online learning if your school is making the switch to digital.
Digital learning can be a rough time for many students who aren't used to it, but don't worry, we have you covered.
Both of us have experienced online learning firsthand, and we wish we knew this advice before diving headfirst into an online semester.
So without further delay, let's talk about how to make this online semester your best yet.
One of the best things that you can do in order to prepare for digital learning is setting up a good study space. Since you won't be in classrooms this semester, it's important that you sort of get yourself into a classroom mindset at home. In order to do that, make sure that you have a dedicated space that you're spending time in just to learn. In our last video, we talked about designating different spaces for their different purposes, and we talked about the psychological effects of that and how it helps you be more productive. And the same exact thing applies here with online learning. What do you need to do to make sure that you have a good study space set up? The first thing is making sure that your study space has good lighting. Make sure that your desk faces a window instead of a wall, because it can get really dreary just looking at a wall all the time when you're studying, because studying by itself can be a real downer on the spirit. So you want to make sure that you have some good natural lighting to look up at whenever you need to give your eyes a break. Additionally, you also want to make sure that your study space is quiet. If you live in a house like mine with a lot of different family members passing in and out of hallways nearby your room, you want to make sure that you're relocating or making a study space where it's quiet. If that's not possible for you and you just can't avoid having people bother you with their noise, try to adapt to that situation. Listen to music while you study, preferably listening to non-lyrical music so that it'll help you concentrate more than distract you. Or you can use earplugs. Earplugs are a great way to block out noise. Just pop them in your ears and you're good to go. Lastly, a good study space is ideally a place away from your bed or the place that you sleep. Because, like we said in the last video, psychologically you may intermingle sleep and work if you work on your bed or if you end up falling asleep on your desk. It's really crucial that you separate your workspace from your bed space.
Although it might be tempting to completely sleep through your teacher's Zoom lessons, it's still really important to pay attention. Be sure to participate and ask questions, answer your teacher's questions, and keep your camera on so it helps to simulate a physical school environment better. Keeping your camera on also helps you connect with your teacher a little bit more. When the teacher's talking to a bunch of black screens with just their names printed on them without any faces showing up, it's very impersonal, so it makes it harder for the teacher to connect with their students. And on your end, if you're a new student or a freshman or a sophomore who still doesn't know everyone in their classes, it's going to be hard for you to be able to get to know the people in your class and be able to reach out to them for help in the future. So be sure to keep your camera on to try to foster that school environment a little bit more. You'll be able to get to know your teachers more as well as your classmates. If your teacher doesn't have live lectures every single day and a lot of it is just work you do independently at home, you might feel like Zoom classes are also just a time for you to sleep or work on other things, but Zoom classes can also be really beneficial. You have the opportunity to ask your questions to your teacher in person and in live time. So if you have follow-up questions, you can ask them as well. So make sure that you come prepared with other questions that you have if you have questions regarding previous assignments you've done, because that's going to be the best time for you to be able to get answers to those questions. So yeah, in general, just try to stay awake and participate in your online classes.
Now, I'm sure I'm not the only one that's felt this way, but quarantine can be really isolating, especially in an academic sense. So as we go back to school and as we transition to online learning, you may feel that you're isolated from your teachers, that you're isolated from your peers. And a great way to deal with this is to prioritize collaboration throughout digital learning. So what are some ways that you can effectively intermingle collaboration within a digital learning environment? First of all, make sure that you're reaching out to your teacher. I know that a lot of people are afraid to ask their teachers questions, because there is a certain level of unreliability with emailing your teachers or sending them a remind message because you don't know when they'll get back to you, and a lot of the times teachers can be unpredictable. But try and prioritize reaching out to them early on. If you have a question, ask it then, because if you wait on it and you hesitate, that question is only going to snowball and it'll become harder for you to build up the courage to reach out to your teacher about it. I've been in that situation where I don't even know what I don't know. So the minute that you have hesitation about a subject or you're confused about a certain type of problem, reach out to your teacher and try to communicate as effectively as possible. Attach the specific question that you're struggling with. Explain to them what particular topic is confusing you and what resources you've already looked at so that they can get an idea and gauge where you are in a level of expertise on that topic. Another way to collaborate is by creating study groups. Study groups are a way to sprinkle in some fun to a digital learning environment and just keep up with your friends in general. I know that my friends and I have been able to study for tests together, all the while trying to focus and balance having fun. Just make sure that the people that you're studying with aren't people that you know are going to distract you.
Also, try to imitate a real school schedule as best as you can. For example, instead of waking up at 11 in the morning or noon, try to wake up earlier at 7 or 6:30, depending on when your school starts. Try to give yourself enough time to eat breakfast, maybe take a shower, study for any upcoming tests, and in general, just wake yourself up a little bit before school starts. If your school is mostly doing asynchronous learning in which you're responsible for completing assignments independently rather than attend Zoom sessions with your teacher and classmates, it might be kind of tempting to just do things in a random order without a consistent schedule or a real order to the way you're doing things. However, this can get super overwhelming really quickly. Instead, create yourself a schedule. So maybe from 8 to 9 in the morning, you're working specifically on your language arts assignment for the day. And maybe from 9 to 10, you're working on math. From 10 to 11, you're working on your AP US history classwork. So try to mimic a school schedule from home as best you can. This way you'll be able to manage your work more effectively. Another really important thing is to have a consistent morning and night routine that you keep up with throughout the year. So once you're done with your digital schoolwork for the day as well as your homework for every class, it might be around 9 or 10 at night. So taking some time to relax and have time for yourself is really important. For me personally, I like to make my breakfast for the following morning at night. I love to eat overnight oats. It's basically like a dessert that you're starting your morning off with, but it's oats, so it kind of makes it a little bit healthier. So if you haven't had overnight oats before, I highly recommend that you go check it out. And there's a bunch of random recipes online that you can kind of adjust to your liking. And for me, making those oats every single night and eating those oats every single day in the morning kind of helped me establish a routine and helped me maintain a sleep schedule better. And try maybe taking a shower in the morning. For me, I used to hate taking showers in the morning because that would mean I'd have to wake up a little bit earlier to account for my time in the shower, but that honestly does help wake you up a little bit more. And so when you begin your schoolwork, you'll be way more awake. In the mornings, I also like to write in my bullet journal and go through all the tasks that I have to complete based on what my teachers post are my assignments for the day. This also helps me keep track of all these Zoom meetings I have to attend for school as well as for my extracurricular activities. It just helps keep everything in place. So try to have some type of agenda, whether that's a physical one or an online version like Google Calendar. It really will help you create that schedule more and help you budget your time accordingly.
The last and final thing that we want to discuss today is probably the most important thing in this video, and that is your academic integrity. I know that a lot of students may be really struggling with school right now and that it's really difficult, and virtual learning allows the temptation to cheat, to look up answers, to exchange test questions. First and foremost, just know that especially this year, your teachers are more aware than ever about the possibility and the likelihood of their students cheating. So trust me, they've planned ahead for all of the different devices that you've come up with to cheat. So in general, just avoid it. Don't put your academic integrity at risk just for a couple of points on a quiz or a test. We hope that you'll keep these tips by your side as you embark on the journey that will be this academic year.
No matter how challenging it gets, remember to keep your head up and stay safe, sane, and healthy.
Feel free to leave a comment with your questions, concerns, or thoughts about going back to online school. If you enjoyed this video, like and share.
Subscribe to our channel and turn on post notifications if you want to see more videos from us. Happy learning!